Okay, guys, tonight we're going to get back on the topic of Tom Steyer in California. I've already issued you a warning when I was on vacation and did the short video from the phone. Now I'm going to issue you an urgent warning because the situation has changed. And why is that? Because this man is running for governor of California. Well, you might say, what's that got to do with me? Well, this affects everyone in the whole country because this man is running for the state that has the largest economy in the U.S., the fourth largest in the world, and what they do is going to affect everyone else in the nation. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why this guy is the biggest threat, and he is worse than Gavin the greasehead nuisance, and Katie Porter combined. All right, so first of all, let's just jump over here to the desktop. This just in, and it has changed since the last video that I did. Here we go. And we see that the polls are now showing the 2026 California governor primary race with Tom Steyer, the Democrat, in second place at 14.5%, behind Steve Hilton, the frontrunner, at 18.2%. So here's what's bad. He just went past Chad Bianco, the Republican, is now at 14.3. I think he was at 14.5 and Tom Steyer was at 14.3, putting him in third place and less of a threat. Now, Tom Steyer is in a serious position to cause a serious problem because in second place, he would make it to the runoff. And we know that in the runoff, they take the top two and then they vote for governor. Chances are, if Steyer makes it to the top two, he's probably going to win. All right, because you're going to have all of these others who are voting for these other nutballs. They're all going to go in with Tom Steyer, and that's going to push Steve Hilton off of the roost there. Okay, so now it's dangerous. That's warning number 2, that he's made it up to that second position. Now I'm going to give you the third stage of the warnings, and it has to do with what this means for the state of California and everyone in the United States if he makes it in as the governor. Let's get rid of this one, and let's pull up Breitbart. There we have it. Now, let's just check out some of the crazy stuff that Breitbart is reporting again since last week. All right, because Mr. Tom, this radical nut job, has been busy making ridiculous statements like this. He wants the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, agents to be put in jail for their crimes. All right, so he's just going all out crazy radical. You're running for governor of a state, but he's proposing that the state of California will start to jail federal agents. So basically, he's saying, let's start a civil war and jail ICE agents. But wait, there's more. It gets a lot worse. Let me put on my glasses here. So he's going at it against President Trump. And he claims that President Donald Trump is attacking and robbing the most vulnerable in our city. The most vulnerable? Well, they're illegals. They're not supposed to be there. They're breaking federal law while protecting and enriching the most powerful. Now, forget the fact that Steyer is one of those rich and powerful because if I'm not mistaken, I think he's a billionaire. So he calls for ICE to be abolished and stated that people needed to stop the authoritarian takeover of Trump and ICE by countering them head on and going after both their agents on the streets. So he's saying that Trump's an authoritarian, but if he's the governor, he's going to go after federal agents, take them on in the streets. How is that not authoritarian? That's like he's going to become a mini dictator, a mini authoritarian, and start a civil war with the feds. Please explain that to me in the comments if you think that that makes any sense. He goes on to say that ICE is acting like a criminal organization, carrying out indiscriminate racial profiling and using violence, intimidation, and terrorism and the murder of Americans to extend Trump's rule by fear. Now, that's a bunch of malarkey, and I'll tell you why. First of all, he's proposing that he's going to be a dictator just like what he's accusing Trump of being. Second of all, you can't open up the border or call for opening up the border and abolishing ICE agents and then turn right around and claim that it's indiscriminate racial profiling when you deport those people where the majority of them are coming from South America, Mexico, where they are Hispanic. So if 95% of them are from those South American countries and they have to be deported, you can't turn around and say, well, no, that's racial profiling. So then what are you supposed to do about it? That's like saying, okay, the only country we're going to open up the southern border to is China. No other nationality, no other country can come in, but we're going to let 10 million Chinese come in through the southern border. And then we're going to say, okay, ICE agents aren't allowed to detain, arrest, and deport them because it would be racial profiling because they're all Chinese. Now, that doesn't make any sense. But see, that's the same line of thinking. That's what he is proposing, that we can't do this indiscriminate racial profiling after we open up the back door and invite everybody in from Mexico, Central America, and South America. Okay, so it gets even better. Steyer said that if he's elected governor, he would do 5 things to give California the power and authority to take on ICE and win. Now, that's absurd. This is more absurd than anything Gavin the Greasehead Newscum has ever done. This is even more absurd than anything I've heard come out of the mouth of Katie Porter, that crazed lunatic. She is completely deranged, but this is even worse. I'm warning you right now that Tom Steyer is worse and more of a threat than everyone else, every other potential candidate for the governor of the state of California. This is the worst one right here because he's basically saying that he is going to wage war against the federal government, and then he's going to protect all of his illegals by focusing on race, ethnicity, and all of that good stuff, and claiming that we're racially profiling. Okay, he also said that he would give the California Attorney General authority to hold ICE agents accountable for any violence that occurs. So if someone protests and they attack ICE agents or try to run them over in the streets, or if illegals try to evade or attack or fight back, well, that violence is, of course, going to be blamed on the ICE agents and only them. They are the only ones that will be held accountable. So this unit would gather evidence so that the Attorney General can prosecute offenders and their leadership. So now we're basically taking a broad brush and we're calling federal agents offenders for enforcing federal immigration law. How is that not an insurrection? That's exactly what it is. Number 4, Steyer says that he would bring people who may have been detained or taken by ICE agents back home. Back home. So anybody who's here illegally and they got deported to their real home, he's going to bring them back home to California. So I guess California is no longer a part of the United States. It's just this independent nation that can do whatever the hell they want, and it has open doors to the entire world. Now, mind you, there ain't a country in the first world that has an open border. There's none. They don't exist. I already did a video on it way back when. Go look it up. Prove me wrong if you can, but you won't be able to. But he thinks California can do whatever the hell they want, have an open border, no rules, none of that stuff, and bring everyone from the world back home. All right. The 5th thing was launch a massive statewide Know Your Rights public education and public awareness campaign. I guess they're going to have to do that in Spanish okay, because it's not going to do too well if he does that campaign in English. Wow. So you're going to basically teach the illegals how to know their rights and evade federal enforcement of United States immigration law. Okay, so this is interesting here. A recent report from the City Journal found that California Gavin the Greasehead Newscum covertly spent $1 billion importing 400,000 migrants from poor countries into the state. It's all about control. It's all about votes. The outlet traced the money and found that Newscum had granted approximately $1 billion to an army of nonprofits that has encouraged unchecked numbers of migrants to enter the country, fought deportation orders in the courts, and led street protests against ICE. Guess what, guys? That's your money, taxpayer dollars. So this man, Tom Steyer, he's going to take it to the next level and go beyond Gavin the Greasehead Newsom, where we had to foot the bill for the $1 billion because that money, you know, that didn't come from California because they're broke. After doing their Medi-Cal scam program on top of Medicare, and it was supposed to be funded by the state, and they dipped in and spent all kinds of federal funds, they don't have any money. And so all that money that went to the illegals, it was our federal taxpayer dollars. Now, I want to ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. First question is, do you think Tom Steyer is going to win election if he holds on to the second position and makes it to the runoff election? Question number 2, do you think that we are screwed if this man wins, the governor of California, and that we are looking at a head-to-head battle with this man and the federal government between him and Donald Trump and whoever the next president is going to be, which it may be J.D. Vance? What an epic battle we have up ahead of us. And who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be the state of California, or will it be the federal government? Answer those questions. Post in the comments below. So glad that you watch, like, subscribe, do all that fun and good stuff. And by goodness, we'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out.